Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Today's video I wanted to do a brow tutorial of how I do my brows and a little bit about what products I use and why I like to use them where. So if you want to learn how I do my brows, just keep watching. So first I wanted to talk about my favorite brow product that is my go-to every single day. Never use anything else when it comes to a pencil, is by Anastasia of Beverly Hills, or Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think that's how you say it. It's the Brow Wiz. It's kind of taken over the brow industry. And I have it in medium brown. I like to play a little bit with my color because I don't necessarily want to, I can't really match my hair, but I like to do sometimes a more intense brow or a more natural brow. So it just depends on what kind of look I'm going for. I use different things. So we're gonna just go ahead and start by combing through our brows. And I always like to do my brows after my foundation. That's just kind of my routine. And we just want to comb through them and get them all nice and laid out. So as you can see, I'm a little bit more sparse on the ends. That's kind of typical. And one of the hardest spots for me to do my brows is right in here, because I want to always make them harsh, and the end result is okay, but I would love to actually do a more natural look. So it's a little bit harder for me to be light-handed on the inside, but for a more natural brow, it looks better with less on the inside. The goal is to not do Sharpie brows. That is the worst looking brow I've ever seen. So we're just gonna go ahead and with the Brow Wiz, we're gonna do lightly. I always try to do my ends first and go really light-handed and just kind of map it out and fill in what my shape is doing and going with it. And I like to thicken up the outer edges. And then you take the other side, the spoolie side, and brush it out, and that'll help keep it more natural. So then I'm going to go ahead and go on the top half of my brow and just start lightly doing little sparse hairs. Like, that's the look, kind of filling in where there are sparse hairs but flicking it so it makes more fake hair. So I'm gonna go ahead, hopefully that makes sense. So I'm gonna go in and do this side, and this side I don't do as much on the outside because I like the shape that it already has. And we gotta kind of remember the saying, they're sisters and not twins, because I always want them to be perfect on both sides, and they never are. Rarely have I ever been able to do something that matches the other side. It's just not realistic. So I'm gonna go more in with that one. And I just kind of like to work back and forth, a little bit on this side, a little bit on that side. That's how I find balances it out the best. One of the reasons why I love this pencil is because it's so creamy and so easy to apply. It's very hard to mess up your application with this product, as long as you take your time and you do little bit by little bit. And if you mess up, that's okay. We can always fix it. You can go in with a little bit of a Q-tip. You can take the spoolie. There's just a couple different things you can do to fix it. We can go in with concealer. So try not to stress if you made a mistake. So now that I've done the outer area, I like to go a little bit with the the pencil and kind of fill in the under part of the start of my brow. And I like to do my difficult one first and just kind of etch out a line right there. This side's a lot more filled in, so it makes it easier. So now that side got pretty harsh, so I'm just gonna go ahead and comb out with my spoolie a little bit so it softened it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just start flicking the pencil up in this area to create depth and more hair in there. But so lightly, I'm barely using any pressure, and I'm really trying to just flick it in there. This is the hardest brow for me because it is the one with the least amount of hair. So I'm gonna start to connect this brow on top with the top of this one. Kind of like that. And then I'm gonna comb through to take some of that harshness away. Now you can comb it all away, so you have to be really careful when you're using your spoolie. Okay, so now what I like to do is go in with some brow powder, and I have 3 different shades because I have really tried to decide on which color I like the best on my brows. It's harder with the hair color, you know, it really depends on what your color is and what kind of look you're going for. So what I've been using lately is the medium brow powder in Anastasia Beverly Hills. So medium brown, and it looks like this. So it's kind of like a taupey shade. It's not the color taupe, it's a taupey shade. So I wanted to be specific on that because I believe they have a taupe shade. This one is medium brown. I really love her brush, and I think this is the number 12. I'll list in the description bar exactly all the stuff that I mentioned or used. And this is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it's got the spoolie, but something about how the brush is made makes the application so easy. I haven't found a brow brush that applies it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the lightest shade, and I'm just gonna take my brush, and sometimes I tap it off on the side because it gets a little too much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the powder and just kind of flick it in there into the top of the brow, and then I'm going to slowly work my way forward without re-dipping my brush, because I want to get most of it off and I want it to be heaviest on the tail. And then I'm going to take my spoolie and just kind of go through it a little bit, make sure there's nothing too harsh in there, and it just kind of fills it in ever so lightly. I'm going to take it and I'm going to start out here, same color, the light color, and that time I re-dipped because I did not have enough product on the brush. You'll be able to tell. Then I'm going to go ahead and do light strokes in there. Then I'm going to take it wide, I'm going to set my brush like this, and I'm going to go up and flick into it. And I'm going to take my spoolie and comb it out. So this upper area I feel like is too sparse still, so I'm going to take the darker shade from the eyeshadow palette and just fill in that little hole that I felt like I had right there. So what I like to do to finish off, to kind of clean up, is I take my Sigma E15. It's a super flat brush. So you see how flat that is? And then I take some concealer. I just like to use this one by Urban Decay, the Naked Skin. And I take a little bit and put directly from the wand onto my brush. And then I also tap it on the back of my hand to get the excess off. So what I like to do is I start at my arch to clean up. And this will also help you in between waxes or tweezes to conceal some of the hair. So I just like to touch up under there, and it also adds a little bit of brightness. So now I take it right under here and define it a little bit more. And then if I feel like I got a little too crazy with it, it'll be fine because I'll put a little bit of eyeshadow over it to kind of set it. So same thing on the other brow. I start at the arch and work my way. See how it just sharpens the line, and if I feel like I got it too chubby on the tail, then I can sharpen it up with this. And it cleans everything up and makes it look really nice. See the difference? And then finally, to set the brows in place so that they don't move, I use by Anastasia her clear brow gel. And I'm not even kidding, this stuff lasts so long. It's totally worth the money, and it is like glue. You can comb through those brows and they stay all day. And just gently comb through, and this will also help even out your brows and make them look nice and a lot of times if I'm running out the door and I don't have any makeup on, I run this through my brows, and it at least keeps them under control so we don't have like Groucho situation going on. Another option she has is the tinted brow gel, which is kind of cool. So for somebody who has super full brows and they have like very little missing, this is an awesome option. I have this in Auburn, and it's a little too dark for what I like, but it is kind of amazing because you can just dust that through your brows too, really fast fill them in, and then they look nice and natural. So yeah, so that's how I do my brows, guys. I hope you learned a little something and picked up on some products that might work for you and something for you to try. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Go ahead and comment below, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.